Hello world, I'm Robin Catling and this is Write On. Join me in my author journey as I delve into the craft of writing, bringing you tools, tips and lessons learned the hard way so you don't have to. Avoiding prologues and exposition. Can you write certain genres while avoiding prologues and exposition? Fantasy and science fiction frequently rely on a trunkload of setup to kickstart the story. Heavy on world building and lore, the reader has to wade through pages of exposition before they get anywhere close to an empathetic main character. There's a key question. How much of this stuff does the reader need to know on page 1? Secondly, how much of your world and history can they retain in one hit? Putting wheels on a sled. Personally, I like multi-layered, complex stories with deep world building. But if you need a 300-year rewind just to scene set, you've lost me. We're looking at you, Rings of Power. The Lord of the Rings doesn't do that. We're pretty much into the inciting incident with Gandalf aiming to identify the One Ring. Prologue appeals to authors as a great vehicle to cheat your way into the story, laying out all that backstory up front. As readers, we recognise the cheat. Why should we give you the time when what we really want is to get on with the story? If the world building and lore is that much more important, what does that say about your characters? I'd rather get to know the characters through action and find out all that other stuff as we go. And because there are lots of prologues in classics and bestsellers, that doesn't make them acceptable or good. Like prologues, I find epigraphs, quotes and poems, in chapter headings either on the nose or pretentious twaddle. Instead of adding depth and authenticity, they draw attention to the artifice of the novel form. They generally take me out of the story rather than pulling me in. It's just another cheat. Showing versus telling. There's a balance between avoid exposition at all costs and I've no idea who's what, where, when or why. Good writers find a way to work world building and lore into the fabric of the story while the characters are in motion. Unless you can prologue it as a self-contained short story of some kind, with some characters and some drama, it's going to read like the very info dump you're trying to avoid. Even then, prologuing with a set of disposable characters wastes more of the reader's time and emotional investment. So before you go full prologue, tease out what information the reader needs and when. Is the content of the prologue vital to the understanding of world building or plot setup? If it is, why can't you relay that while the characters are in motion? I know we're all told show don't tell, but sometimes you can slip in a bit of tell if the narrative point of view is handled right. You can always drip feed background information through some reaction, reflection or musing by your character. Maybe not if you open in the middle of an action scene though. You'll have to wait for the calm after the storm when the readers go, phew, what was that all about? Is there a foil or sidekick character or a fish out of water character who can prompt for a bit of exposition in the course of a conversation? Maid and butler. By way of warning, Sanderson frequently harps on maid and butler conversations from bad stage plays. The curtain-raising, as you know, yes and dialogue that tries to shortcut the setup. Don't do that. Characters researching the current problem often get to tell the librarian, sage, archivist or computer to skip ahead to the highlights, because experts and computers always want to tell you way more detail than you need on the way to the actual answer. Don't overdo this device. In one of Anthony Ryan's Raven's Shadow trilogy, each chapter has an extract from that fantasy world's Wikipedia, relating the history of various battles. The point of view character is an annoying historian shadowing a not Conan the Barbarian protagonist. He's constantly comparing the history that he knows to the person in front of him. Alternatively, set up some mystery boxes. Raise questions, drop hints, but withhold the answers till later plot points. Take a look at a prologue in any example novel. Now ask, does this need a prologue? The answer's probably no. That's all for this time. Thanks for stopping by. You can like and subscribe to the channel, or go to robincatling.info to check out the blog.